Today's video is going to be a little shorter and a bit more of a serious topic. It's not really about shrinkflation. It's more about corporations and the lies that they constantly tell. So if you're not interested in that, then don't watch the rest of the video. But let's start off with the ultimate problem here, and we're going to learn this problem by watching this video. Now, as it says right here, Grand Junction Fiveguys employee speaks out on apparent racial viral video. They came in, they called us slurs, and got us fired. Now, I don't think many people who are watching this video have probably seen the viral video necessarily, because absolutely no news source is covering it, which is part of the problem. This is how I want you to know that we have a problem, because if I type in Fiveguys in here, right? And I go to news, I see 1, 2, 3 at the top, but they're all from tiny local news stories. Grand Junction, Daily Sentinel, KGCT. Not a single story from an actual newspaper, from a national source. You got other companies, other newspapers announcing new locations and stuff like that. Fiveguys franchisee leases space. You got the National Business Journal talking about returning to Inner Harbor. But only a couple of local news stories have actually picked up this story, which is just ridiculous in my opinion. That's why I wanted to talk about it. We'll watch this video because it's going to generally explain it, and then I'll give a few thoughts on it. But the number one thought is just fuck Fiveguys. But let's watch this a little bit.
Now we move on to that video that's gone viral on the Western Slope. It appears to show a man hurling racial slurs at a Fiveguys.
The quality is... oh, there it goes.
Olivas has more.
Fiveguys is known for their burgers and fries, but now they're in the spotlight for a different reason.
How are you okay with this? It started with them placing an order and coming in to get their order.
What was supposed to be a simple interaction, buying a burger and fries, turned into much more. Aiden Renova is this Fiveguys employee you see in the video, asking a man who appears to be yelling racial slurs to leave. It was election night, and Renova says the man asked one of the cooks who he was voting for.
And that's kind of a weird thing to bring up to someone who's like making your fries.
The employee responded, saying he voted for Kamala Harris.
And so the guy responded by calling him a under his breath. He just like he said something along the lines of like, of course you would.
Now, you can watch the viral video yourself if you want to, but this should be obvious to anyone that the employees should be 100% in the clear. In fact, imagine this. Imagine that you owned a store, any store. It doesn't even have to be a Fiveguys, any store, and you have employees that you are technically supposed to care about, right? That work for you, that generate income for you, the owner. Without these employees, you're nothing. But anyways, you have people that work under you. Like, I don't understand the basic lack of empathy. Like, if this guy worked for me, or I think for any normal human being, the owner would immediately turn and be like, what the fuck, this guy is racist, and not fire the employees. He'd be like, on their side, right? That would be the normal empathetic world that I would like us all to live in, but apparently we don't live in that world, and it's not obvious to people that this shit is not acceptable and that firing the employees is completely bullshit, which is why I'm making this video, because I'm hoping that it is obvious to some people and they just haven't heard the story, and maybe one or two of them will hear it from me and not go back to Fiveguys. I'm not gonna say boycott Fiveguys, because that shit doesn't work. Nobody boycotts shit. If you like Fiveguys, you'll go to Fiveguys. I get it. But I just want you to know that this is part of the story of Fiveguys. I want people to, when they think, oh, I want a burger, maybe I should go to Fiveguys, I want them to also think, maybe I shouldn't go because it's fucking racist and they fired a guy for defending himself from a racist asshole. That's what I want to be in people's heads. I don't want them to go to Fiveguys and feel good about it, because you shouldn't. I mean, it's already, you know, paying $15 for a fucking overpriced burger. That's one thing. It's fine if you don't mind wasting money, but maybe you also don't mind wasting money and you also don't care about people. Then go to Five Guys. That's my ultimate message. But if you're a human being, then you should see this and at least understand how fucked it is and how fucked of a company Five Guys is. Even if this is a franchise, I want to make this clear. This is not the corporation Five Guys, it's a franchise Five Guys. But the corporation hasn't said anything either. They didn't put out a statement. In fact, there's only a statement from the franchise owner, which is the most infuriating fucking statement you'll ever hear, which I will show after the end of this video from the local news source who's actually doing reporting and not just sitting on CNN talking bullshit all fucking day. So let's watch the rest.
That's when the employee tells us he pulled out his phone to record what was going on.
And I like go up to them. I ask the guy like, "Whoa, what are you doing, man? Why are you saying slurs?"
After it was all said and done, Renova says what happened next was unexpected. He says his coworker who took the video was fired.
You really saw the guy coming in and saying like the Mexicans, we need to get rid of the Mexicans, and your solution was to fire the Mexicans? Like,
Renova.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. I haven't actually watched this video. I want to be clear. I didn't pre-watch this news story. I watched the viral TikTok and then Googled the news stories to make this video. I hadn't watched this before, but thank you. This is my exact message. This should be fucking obvious to anybody with a fucking brain and a fucking hint of humanity.
Decided to quit after the incident. He says he couldn't stay after the company's decision. Jeff Parker, the Five Guys owner,
This is the statement. Oh my god.
And they don't tolerate racism in the establishment.
This is so infuriating because it's standard practice, but I think everybody can see through this now in 2024. That's my hope and dream, because I see through. It's so transparent and I see through it now, and I used to just kind of like go with the flow and not really care. But it's so transparent what this statement says. We are very concerned by this incident and everything that has followed. We are investigating offline to understand the full story. At this time, we are not at liberty to discuss employment personnel matters. We do not tolerate racism in our establishment and are working with our crews to ensure that the safeties of employees and customers is always our whatever. There's like priority or whatever. I'll show you the rest in a second, but this is the statement, and it's just a blatant lie. Like, there's nothing, like, you can't watch that video, see that the guy gets fired, read this, and not instantly know that it's just a straight up lie. It's just bullshit. One, they're not concerned, otherwise they wouldn't have fired the guy. Two, maybe they are investigating it offline, but what difference does it make if they're investigating offline if they already fucking fired the employee? Like, it's over. You already screwed it up. Thanks. At this time, we're not at liberty to discuss employment personnel matters. What that means is they 100% fired the guy. Now they're regretting that decision, which I'm going to... There's a little bit more information on that, which we'll get to. They regret firing him because obviously that was fucking insanely racist and hopefully criminal. And hopefully the guy can sue them for some money. That'd be nice. We do not tolerate racism in our establishment and are working with our crews to ensure the safety of employees and customers. I don't see that, because what you just did was tolerate racism directly. By firing the employee after that, that's directly tolerating racism. There's no two ways around it. You can't just say we do not tolerate racism after tolerating racism. It doesn't work. That's the point. It doesn't cohere. You can't just completely lie and expect people to follow. At least that's the hope.
Now, Renova says his next steps are to look for another job and wait for justice. Reporting in Grand Junction, I'm Yvonne Oliva.
Well, that video has received hundreds of thousands of views across TikTok and Instagram, and the identity of the man who appears in the video has not been confirmed.
All right.
Being a teacher is almost something.
We don't need to talk about the teachers right now. Now, I want to get into this because there is a little bit more on this Daily Sentinel story. I appreciate the journalist here from the Daily Sentinel who did a little bit more work. He went into this. The incident took place Tuesday night. Wednesday night, I go to work, and unfortunately, I was laid off. They fired me because apparently someone else shared the video, which had his and his wife's actual names and personal information. They said I did that, but it wasn't me. I showed my manager the video that I posted, but they said, oh well, I begged to keep my job. I need it. I have a family. Now they're claiming I quit, that I got very emotional, that I got angry and quit. I'll be honest, I did get emotional. I got fired for standing up for myself. I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. I've never been called that before, which is followed by the bullshit statement here. We're not at liberty. We respect and treat all our customers and expect our customers to treat our employees with respect as well. We don't have all the details, but are concerned by what we are seeing and will investigate and address as needed. No. They're not doing that. I want to specifically say, fuck this guy, Jeff Parker, owner of this specific Five Guys, because even if you want to say that this is not on Five Guys as a brand, the person it is 100% on is Jeff Parker, the owner of this Five Guys, who made the decision to fire this employee after they got, fucking harassed. That's this guy. So I had to look him up. Now, the important thing I want to get into here is that this is obvious bullshit, right? So they fired him that night by saying that he posted a video with their personal identifying information, which he says he didn't, which I don't think he did. Now, obviously, I want to make this clear because I don't think people really understand this, but no, it's not okay to put their personal information out there. It's not. That's exactly what they did to this guy. You're doing to that guy. That's not the way to address things. We shouldn't immediately attack this person in this anonymous video. What we should instead do is use the video to support the person who was attacked in the video, the employee. So no, these people are irrelevant. These are just a couple of racist fucking trash people who don't matter and don't deserve. I mean, they do deserve the criticism, but just don't do it because it's not the way to be. You got to be empathetic to at least a certain extent and not be so violent immediately. That's just my opinion, though. But yeah, don't do that. And anyways, but we can talk about Jeff Parker because he is the owner of this business. His name is proudly on the business. He has 4 Five Guys locations, and he is publicly commenting on this. So I did a little research. I read a couple news stories about him. He apparently was in the MLB for a while, but not as like a player. He was, some kind of backroom guy that developed talent and stuff like that. I read this quote, this opening of this article, which made me instantly dislike him even more, which is funny. That month, a talented pitcher wanted out of his contract because he was being demoted to the Angels' low-level A team. The pitcher's lack of commitment, Parker said, disgusted him. In the end, the pitcher was not released. Instead, he was suspended indefinitely. Why? We didn't want to develop quitters. So there you can tell instantly that he's a fucking piece of shit asshole. There's a guy who just wants to be let out of his contract because he's not getting paid enough, and instead he said, despite the guy specifically, fuck you, you're suspended indefinitely, just to be a dick. All right? That's the point of this. But now the most important point, specifically if you live in Grand Junction, Colorado, or in that area, my ultimate message is, do not ever go to the 4 locations that this guy owns, ever. Even if you love Five Guys. Specifically bypass any location that is in the Front Range area, restaurants south of Denver. So the couple owns all the Front Range Five Guys restaurants south of Denver. So those all I would like directly boycotted, but I don't think it's going to happen. So I just want you to know that this is the franchise owner. This is him. He was working for the Angels, got rich doing that, bought a Five Guys franchise, and then in 2024 fired an employee after they got, verbally assaulted by a racist asshole, and didn't defend that employee and instead fired him. Because in his mind, as a business owner, he made the calculation that the racist asshole customer is more important to him than the actual employee. It's more important that he capture the racist piece of shit community instead of normal people, I guess, for his businesses. So yeah, he made his point clear. If you're racist, I guess that's a good place to go. So go to these Five Guys and these Five Guys only. If you're racist, and if you're not, then don't go to these Five Guys. That's the ultimate message. And with that, I would like to say, I'll see you next time. But, you know, hopefully there's not a next time, but there will be. So I'll see you then.